Welcome to 20 at 10 with Nat. My guest tonight is Mr. Fabian Perez, who is a business manager for multiple artists and bands, who's also recently turned artist manager, but also still manages business for multiple artists, multiple other artists. And I'm trying to think of other interesting things. What's up, Grace? I met him through his line of work. I was just at a show, but he was working the show. I'm inviting you in now. Maybe it worked. All right. It says it's connecting.
What's up?
Hey,
How are you? I'm
welcome.
a little close. Holy shit. Sorry.
No, you're good. It always it zooms in weird. Welcome. Thanks for being my guest tonight.
Did I miss your intro?
Yeah. It's a short intro, but I basically, I was explaining how we met. We met at a show. Probably it was a show that you were a business manager for an artist. And I have probably several questions for you. We'll see how much time that we have. All right. My first question has to do with business management for artists. But imagine that the world is normal. I know your job is probably really varied, but what would maybe a typical work week look like for you? Different things that you might do.
Well, I'm a little bit different of a business manager. Most of them are basically CPA accountants, and they're just basically doing QuickBooks all day long. But I was a financial advisor for over 10 years and kind of took a different approach, and a handful of my friends were musicians, and that's how I kind of got in. But my typical day is, I have certain days that I work with certain clients' files and download all their transactions, but lots of the times now it's like planning their tours, or at least telling them what to expect to bring home based off all their expenses and hotels and travel and whatnot. So it's more just planning and making sure that the tour is worth it, before they commit to something. So
what would what are like some pretty normal problems that you would solve as a business manager?
For me, I travel a lot, and like I use my Amex or I use my United card for points. So usually I'll that's the first thing I'll do for an artist is have them sign up for whatever airline credit card they use, or hotel, company they use. One of it to where they can go and transition all those dollars into points and, get free stuff here and there. So
That's
yeah.
cool. You're like creating a solution before there's a problem. That's good. I also know that obviously you travel a lot. What is maybe one of your favorite places you've ever been?
Barcelona was fun. I was there for 4 or 5 days, but didn't have enough time to do everything. I've gone to Roatan, Honduras a ton and do a bunch of scuba diving there. Still haven't seen everything I wanted to do there.
Do you dive in other places as well, or is it primarily one place?
When I was on tour with one of my clients, and she does a bunch of cruise ships, I would take my scuba gear and get off the boat in each port and scuba dive. So I've done a bunch in Mexico, and really Mexico. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. What is like top of your list places you want to go?
I don't really have like a bucket list thing. I've never been to the Dakotas, like either one of them. So like just
north or south?
North or south. So
Okay.
yeah, just keep going to new places is really, but if I can scuba dive too, then, that'll kind of sway me a little bit, I think.
I don't think that you can in the Dakotas.
Yeah, no, no, no.
Um, okay. So what is I'm trying to think. There was another question I had and it just left my brain. Yep, I don't remember what it was. Oh, foods. What's been an interesting thing you've had to eat that was unexpected? Have you had something unexpected that was crazy or interesting?
Sea urchins, maybe. I went to Tokyo. I skipped South by last year. Well, I guess 2 years ago, for the first time, and went to this really super fancy sushi place. Cost an arm and a leg, but it was like the chef's choice. Like you didn't get to pick whatever. Like you ate what he put in front of you. But it was delicious, and like I was like, wow.
How
Um,
was it served? Like, I assume the spines are off, or you have
yeah,
to.
it was just more like mush at that point.
Okay.
I
Okay.
guess they went in there and scooped whatever out. Yeah, I don't know. It was on a little piece of fish, and it was
Oh,
great.
okay. Wow. Okay. Was there? Oh, forgot you'd been to Japan. Anywhere else? Anything else cool about that trip worth mentioning? I've been obsessed with travel recently since nobody can travel.
You know, walked a ton in Tokyo, but that was before we learned the Google Maps would tell you every single like sign to look for in the subway system. So after after the first 2 days of walking everywhere, jumped on a bunch of trains and went out a little further than the downtown area.
Did
So
you use the Google Translate app where you can like it translates a picture of text?
I didn't really have, well, I guess I did on some of the menus that didn't have an English menu. Um, so yeah, it did come in handy. I ran into some some tooth pain while I was there too. So like I was literally Google translating to a dentist at the same time.
Oh,
So that was my, yeah, it
did you
was.
go to the dentist in Japan?
I went to two different ones in Japan.
That's a story. What
Yeah.
what was that like?
It felt like the beginning of a root canal, and I was like, I was just in pain. And what really upset me was that high-priced sushi place. He gave us a beer, and like I took it, and it, like I wanted to start crying. I was like, I can't do this. I want to eat as much as I can while I'm here. I need to get this fixed. So
This like the beer was too cold or
yeah,
something?
the
Or what?
cold like just like it seeped into some kind of crack. It felt like, I don't know.
Ooh.
It sucked. But he gave me some
Wow.
pain pills, and then
Did
it
you
was
get it
fine.
fixed? You went to two dentists. Did you actually get it fixed while you
He
were there?
he gave me the pain pills, and then I went to another one, and like they went and like did some work, but they're like, we can't do it here. Like you have to go home. Like we're not going to work on your mouth like as much as you want. I'm like, it's not that
Wow.
I want. Like I'm just in pain.
Dang.
So yeah.
That's like not my worst nightmare, but I never want to end up in a hospital or a doctor's office in another country.
Well, I think it would be, you know, I think it would suck if like I was a foreigner here, because then it would have cost me an arm and a leg. Everywhere else, like I would assumed I would have paid 500, $600 to $1,000 if I was here in the States. I think I paid for both of them combined. I paid a little over $100.
Yikes.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely don't envy anyone who ends up in a hospital or doctor's office if they're from another country and they're here. Yikes. Okay. Well, that's interesting. That's slightly terrifying too. Okay, are you ready for a pop question?
Sure.
Okay. Have you ever inflated your resume?
No. I hate doing them. Like I feel like it's a bad time in my life if I have to update them.
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
always a
mean, which I
bummer.
guess I just did, filing for unemployment. For I went too far and I had to do this on the whatchamacallit, but you know, it is what it is.
Okay,
But
I'm gonna
I
ask
didn't
a
inflate
different.
it.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a different one. Have you ever given a friend a piercing?
No,
Same.
not that I know of anyway.
Whoops.
Yeah.
All right, I'll ask one more and then we'll move on. All right. Have you ever solved a Rubik's Cube?
Back in the day, in my teens, but yeah.
One, I'm 0 for all of my tries. I've never solved a Rubik's Cube. All
Are
right.
you
Do you have
asking those same questions to yourself?
no, but like if a good story comes up, I'm not shutting it down.
Okay.
Do you have a question for me?
Most embarrassing thing ever. I don't know.
Most embarrassing thing?
Yeah.
Probably the actual most embarrassing things I have intentionally forgotten. But there is one story that stands out. And I was in college and my roommate was getting married. And the backstory that leads up to just the general feeling of discomfort is that I had severe adult acne at the time. And it looked like I had chickenpox. And like people would walk up to me and talk to me about it, like strangers off the street. They'd be like, "Hey, what's wrong with your face?" And "Hey, there's a hospital down the street for that, right?" Kind of comments. So I'm in a super self-conscious place already. Um, she had asked me to be maid of honor, and then like I never heard back from her. And like a month before the wedding, she was like, "Oh, actually, I'm having this other girl be my maid of honor because she's just been a really good friend to me." And like, yeah, it was like getting really awkward leading up to this wedding. And right before the wedding, they found out the groom's parents were getting a divorce. His dad had been having an affair. And so it was just like, this wedding was like ripe for awkward moments. um, and so all the bridesmaids had like bright red dresses. It was a December wedding. And basically the dinner was weird because I sat at a table with, it wasn't weird until they made it weird. I was sitting at a table with people, but they made a big point that they were all Catholic and that I was Baptist and I was drinking wine. And they were like pointing out that Baptists don't drink. And I was like, I literally just turned 21. I'm like, I'm having wine. And so I'm already very uncomfortable. So we get up for the reception and there's dancing and merriment happening. And there's one bridesmaid who is already like totally gone. She's just like so drunk. Hilarious, but very drunk. And they kind of like start to do whatever the games in the wedding, like the bouquet toss and the garter throw. And after that, they're going to do one more game. And so the DJ brings up the girl who caught the bouquet and the guy who caught the garter. And he made the guy sit down. And then he told the girl who caught the bouquet, "All right, so you're going to give him a lap dance until everyone is clapping loud enough that you can stop." Has that ever happened at a wedding you've been at?
No. No.
Okay, I thought it was weird, but also I grew up going to Baptist weddings and we don't dance at Baptist weddings. Anyways, much less lap dance. And so I had really wanted to catch the bouquet up until that moment. And then I was like so glad that I didn't. And I like shrunk back in the crowd, like I'm going to go hang out in the corner. And then the really drunk bridesmaid, so this is starting to happen, and she just kind of runs out there and joins in, and the DJ's like, "Yeah, let's get all the bridesmaids out here." Yeah, and I was like, "Oh no." So I'm like trying to like be in the back, like hide, but I'm in this bright red dress and people are like pushing me to the center and I'm like, no, I'm like, please no. And I was in a Baptist student ministry group at my school, and like all of the leadership was there and stuff too. So I'm just like, what is happening? And the bride's parents are like the very last people in that circle before it's like the free for all. And I was like, I don't really want to. And her parents are British. Her mom was like, oh, it's all right, Natalie, just go ahead. And I was like, wait, I expected the parent to be like, yeah, just get out of here. So I get pushed out into the center of the room, like the last place on earth I wanted to be, and I like have no idea what to do because I'm furious. So I'm like, I felt so like objectified, and like I was like, I could just stomp off and like completely shut down the wedding, you know? I just like didn't know what to do. So I like stood behind the guy and just like massaged his shoulders. I have like no idea what else was going on. It just was like, get me out of here. And then I kind of blanked out on everything else. I just remember like exiting the room as soon as possible and like running down the hallway, just like bursting into tears, like the worst moment. And I just go and like cry in the bridal room. I'm just like, what just happened? So that was my most embarrassing story.
That wasn't embarrassing. Like, you were in tears, though.
I was embarrassed.
Well, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is horrible. I'm embarrassed. Can I even go back out there? I don't know. Yeah, it was pretty uncomfortable. Also, I've never heard of that happening anywhere else, and I have no idea why that was a thing at a wedding.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I've been to a lot of weddings.
Yeah, well, it's never gonna have. If I ever have a wedding, it's not happening at mine. I missed some comments. I have no idea.
I think Grace is drinking, so he's texting a lot there.
Well, anyways, it lives on forever in my memories as like one of those moments. All right, I'll do a pop question. Have I ever ding dong ditched?
I don't know what that is.
Probably. That's where you like ring the doorbell and run away.
Oh, ding dong ditched. You said that really fast.
Ding dong ditched. Well, I don't have a good story. I'll do another one. Have I ever spent a night in jail? Actually, no. All right, I'll try one more. Oh, have I ever broken a window? Totally.
On purpose?
No. Have you ever broken a window on purpose?
Yeah, I locked myself out of the house. And it was like really hot outside, and like I couldn't get in, so I said, screw it, I'll just pay to fix the window.
That's fair. No, I like walked through a window basically, so that was not on purpose. And it was
I pushed somebody through a window. We were really drunk. It was New Year's Eve, and I was chasing him, and I pushed him, and then he just kept going and went through the front window. It's like, sweet.
That was basically what I did, but nobody pushed me. We were like, me and my cousins were doing cartwheels in my grandparents' like lower level, and I just like cartwheeled, and then I just like landed, but one hand was on the wall and one hand was on the window, and I just went through and just like down my arm. It was a very brittle window, apparently. I was just a kid. Cool. All right. Well, you had a song request earlier, and I did my best to learn it.
Are you pulling up notes? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, like, I know the general melody, but I don't know all the words. And I think it might be an odd version, too. But
I mean, they released more cover songs today, that band, and like they had another song I was going to tell you. Like, oh, maybe you should try this one instead. But
yeah. I liked, I didn't see if they had other covers out, but I liked that one that they did. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Come with me and you'll see into your imagination again. With a spin, traveling in a world of my creation. What you'll see will defy explanation. If you wanna view paradise, simply turn around and view it anything you want to do it. Wanna change the world, there's nothing to it. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Come with me, you'll see into your imagination. There's no life I know that compares with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly want to be.
Nice. Did a
That
good
was
job. One day, learn that.
Yeah, well, learn it with notes. It's not the same
Learn
as
to
like,
play it on guitar anyway.
that's true, yeah. And I went back and listened to the original version because it's real trippy. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird. And it's not very, I mean, there's a melody, but it's hard with everything else in the background to like feel like it's melodic. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it definitely brought back a lot of memories from that movie. Did you ever see the, was it the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Was it with Johnny Depp maybe?
Yeah. I gave it one try.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't, like the original was, I mean, it just doesn't really compare, but.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, well, thanks for being my guest tonight.
Yeah. Look at you. Next 22 minutes only. Good
Yeah.
on timing. Look at that.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, well, I have you linked in my bio, so if anybody wants to give Fabian a follow, feel free. And I will not be here tomorrow night. I'm taking this weekend off. I will be here Monday night at 10 p.m. So
Sweet.
y'all have a good weekend, and I'll see you Monday night at 10.
Bye.
Bye.